You're the state chief executive, you're in the governor's mansion, but then so many of people in your position want to move to the Senate where you're one of 100. I mean, isn't that a little bit of a demotion? Why would you want to be in the Senate anyway?
Naomi, I just got through telling you that my foundation is the truth. And so I got to tell you this, and this will really surprise you, but there's nothing about coming to DC that I want to do. I mean, really, when it really boils right down to it, it will be difficult because I've been CEO all my life, but now I've been the governor, and so it will be difficult. But I have a real gift for being able to cut deals and work with people and be respectful of others and say, Naomi, we're in a deal together and everything. Tell me what would be utopia for you. And then let me tell you what would be utopia for me. And then let's try to work together as much as we possibly can to get as close to that as we can. Well, that's the makings of a good deal. And so with all that being said, I think I can be functional and I can be an asset. And the other flip side of it is just this, Naomi, I hope I'm not stepping on any toes, but I don't think I am. But what's going on in the Biden administration and now the Harris maybe potential administration and what's gone on the last few years in this country is crazy land stuff to me. Crazy stuff. And whether it be inflation or crime or whatever it may be, it is weaponizing these agencies and on and on and on. It is crazy stuff. And so I asked Naomi just this, just think about it. Naomi, if you were wildly popular in West Virginia, unbelievably, and you could very well be the vote to flip the Senate and get this nation maybe, just maybe, on the right path, would you do it? And you'd probably say, yeah, I'd step up. I'd do it.
I think it's been really interesting watching your campaign because obviously the primary was contested or more contested than we thought it was going to be. But now that Senator Joe Manchin has decided not to seek re-election, you're sort of on a glide path to the Senate. I mean, like during the primary, your sort of personal finances came under a huge microscope. I was just wondering how you feel about that sort of aspect of the rough and tumble of politics.
Well, I hate it because at the end of the day, my family employs thousands of people. I've been blessed with a son and daughter that do a really nice job doing their job. To be perfectly honest, I stepped away to serve as the governor. I've done that, and I'm eat up with the serve part. I don't want anything. I drive myself. I don't want a thing, nothing for me. And I'll stand rock solid by that forevermore. But in all that, you have bumps in the road, and in your businesses and everything. And then everybody jumps up and says, well, what about this? What about this? What about this? And then at the end of the day, I tell people, just calm down, for crying out loud. Let Jay and Jill, that's my son and daughter, handle all this. And at the end of the day, they work out. And all the obligations are satisfied. And, or we satisfy our obligations. And sure, I mean, from time to time, we may be late on something or stub our toe and everything as a family. That happens. But at the end of the day, I think we celebrate thousands of employees employed. And the beginning of your question, Naomi, was, in a fairly hotly contested primary. Well, Naomi, I didn't even put a sign up. I did not put a sign up that said, vote for Jim Justice. Not one, and with all that being said, I won by 35 and some odd percent, of the vote. Naomi, I tell the people, just judge me by my deeds. You know me. Joe Manchin decided not to run because he couldn't beat me. He knew he couldn't beat me. And Joe Manchin wants to stay in the spotlight. If he had gotten beaten, he loses the spotlight. At the end of the day, on top of all that, uh, I do think that I'll be a critical vote, and hope that the Republicans win several seats. But you know, it could get more difficult now.
While we're on the subject of Joe Manchin, I just wanted to ask you for what you think happened sort of earlier this week when there was sort of speculation that he might sort of re-register as a Democrat and then seek the nomination again. I mean, what insight do you have as someone that is from the same home state?
You know, in some ways, he's a friend. I really believe that Joe Manchin loves the spotlight. I think that Joe always seems as someone that that wants something for Joe, you know, and so whatever the situation was, he thought, well, hold on here, I'm changing my registration to independent, but I'll change it back, and everything, and then he found out maybe there's not the level of love or support there, and decided, no, that ain't gonna work. And so then that turns into, no, I'm a hard no vote as far as changing my registration back.
West Virginia is part of a really important region for this electoral map in terms of the Rust Belt. How do you think that Vice President Kamala Harris will perform in states that sort of share sort of cultural similarities with yours?
I hope not very well, but I can't imagine this nation electing Kamala Harris. But I can tell you this, that and Naomi, I don't know why that the Republicans kept pushing so hard to get President Biden out of the way. I mean, he was the gift that just kept on giving, and why in the world did we push so blooming hard for him to go? I think now what you've got is you've got a reinvigorated, Democrat Party, and money and money and more money, and you've got a candidate that in a lot of ways fits the bill, from a lot of different areas and everything that can possibly make things even more difficult.
So Kamala Harris made the Republicans' jobs harder coming into this election?
I really believe that we were on a pathway, to an easy victory with President Biden. And now, because the Democratic Party was becoming, fragmented in lots of different ways, and now all of a sudden you have made a party that's pretty dadgum good at elections. Now they really are, and you have made them reinvigorated, and so. I don't know why we pushed so hard to have that happen, because we were on a pathway, to have the keys to the White House and really, really, really move forward. And I think it'll be tougher now.